That's right. Here, delete other. Okay, so let's go here to go to matte cap gray, and we want to do stylized armor, and this could be any number of things. We can go ahead and let's go ahead and delete that. I guess we can just do an extrusion here. So if we go through here, we hold down Control, and we can put in a big old pair of shoulder pads. You know what? Let's do this. They call those pauldrons. Trying to look for some big clunky. That'll work. Okay, so I can give this guy some big shoulder pads because that's what everybody wants to do. So we'll just do this, and then we'll go ahead and go down here to extract T-border thickness here. A little thicker. Extract. That'll work. Accept. Unmask that. Now let's say we want to kind of rebuild this a little bit. In fact, what I'm going to do is just isolate this one, delete hidden, and now we can go through here and just do a quick zero mesh, adapt to size down, and then we'll just do half because I don't need really crazy geometry. I just need simple geometry just to get this started here. So there's our start shape here. So now we've got kind of armor pads going. If you want to go through here and change your shape, you can use your move AcU to kind of pull out the points here. Let's see, preferences, edit, line cursor to surface here. I think this is fine. I mean, shoulder pads are shoulder pads, right? So, and you can layer these up as much as you want to. So let's say this is what I want to start with here. In fact, you know, let's go down here to half one more time with zero mesh. Okay, really simplified here. So now what we can do is we can go here to QMesh, polygroup all. If we pull downwards, that's going to give us thickness in that one direction. So we're going to go to display properties, flip, and now we have this. If we want to give this an edge ring, you can go through here and like try and select this stuff. It's probably easier just to go here, QMesh, polygroup all, pull this out, pull this up. Go ahead and just do like a crease polygroup, hit D for dynamic subdivs, and there you go. You got a pair of shoulder pads. If you want to make it a little bit fancier, you can actually change the creasing on the fly. Crease level of 3, smooth subdivs of 4, shift D, D, and let's go ahead and change that crease level of 2 maybe. Really give it a nice soft fall off there. If you want to put like bolts down the side of this thing, or you want to make it thicker, you can do QMesh, polygroup island, and then you can just hold down shift, and you can use QMesh, and that'll just pop this one in here. That'll work better, I think. And now we have a FrameBorder in here that'll work just fine for dropping in little rivets here. So if we go hold down Control Shift, and trying to think, let's go Control Shift, select lasso. Let's grab this one, and then all of this here. So now we have an open border where we want to drop our rivets. Oops. Like so. Let's go ahead and turn on double temporarily so I can kind of see what I'm doing here. What is that one? You know what? Let's do this. Control Shift, grab this one. Control Shift X to expand. Oh, you know what? That was doing some creepy stuff. Let's do Shift D. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. So these interior edges here, I'm just going to go in here to collapse edge, and we're just going to collapse those corners down just to make it a little bit more easy to work with here. So let's do, you know what, we can just do QMesh of single poly and just QMesh those together, and then we can go ahead and collapse that edge. And collapse this edge here, and then we can just go ahead and delete that edge. Maybe, maybe not. I guess it won't hurt anything. Now this one, let's go ahead and collapse these ones as well. So we'll take this one, we'll go ahead and collapse an edge here. Or you know what, we'll do the whole thing, QMesh a poly, and now we can just collapse that edge, and then collapse this edge here. And then this one we should be able to delete edge. Yeah, wonder if we got something weird going on with this one. Here, because this one should be able to be deleted. Let's go to our point operations, move point. Oh, you know what? Maybe down here. That might be where our trouble's coming from. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's go to weld. Change my weld distance, weld points. See if that cleans it up any. Let's go into solo mode here. So when you use QMesh, I did polygroup island, didn't I? It can kind of start doing some weirdo stuff. I'll go ahead and delete edge here. Yeah, that should be all right. So what we want to do is get this border here. So I'm going to grab this one, Control-Shift-X to expand, X to expand, Control-Shift-Drag, and we'll go ahead and get rid of this one here. You know what? Let's just do auto groups here. There we go. So there's our frame border. Oh yeah, there was crappy stuff going on in here. That's why it's not behaving correctly. No big deal. We can just ignore that for now. I mean, don't do it right, but I'm just going to go ahead and just leave it for now. So now what we can do is we can go over here to stroke, and I guess I could have just made that a polygroup because I can just swing around that anyway, but now we can just go over here to curve functions. We'll go ahead and frame that border here. So now let's go to brush, insert. Doesn't really matter. IMM parts. Is there anything in here? Yeah, we can just drop in. We'll drop in bolts. So now for this one, we're going to need to turn on the curve brush here. So under stroke, curve mode. And now we can just click on this one, and that'll drop in curves wherever that's framed. And I guess we can clean this up later. First thing we need to do is change our step here and also change our brush size here. So when you click on this, we're going to get bigger bolts. And then we're going to go in here to our stroke, change our curve step up so they're a little bit more spaced. That'll work. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And we'll go out of polyframe mode here. We can go Control-Shift-Click to isolate. We can go ahead and just do a split. Unmask points here. Hit D to dynamically subdivide that one again. And again, we could probably model this cleaner. But for presentation purposes here, let's go ahead and get rid of these extraneous ones here. Try to do it clean, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. So we'll go ahead and delete this stuff here. Yeah, and this is where that geometry got a little bit nasty in that corner. No biggie. Invert, Control-Shift-A, delete hidden, and get rid of this one too. Solo mode. There we go. So we got that going. What else do they got? They got spikes. Let's go to Edit, New, Polymesh 3D. No, you know what? Let's go to our sphere. And let's grab a cone, and under this cone we're going to go to initialize, and we're going to say h divides is 4. Boom, instant spike, make polymesh 3D. Let's go ahead and rotate this around here. And go to Q, B, create insert mesh new, and then we go back to our shoulder pad here. And then on this shoulder pad here, it doesn't really matter what you do because we don't have any subdivision history on it, but we can go through here and just start making this one. Let's do Shift D so we can see the actual spikes we're putting on there. If you want them to be shorter, you can drop your Z intensity down. If you want them to be longer than this, go in here to your brush modifiers here, and then you can just go over here to your strength multiplier and crank that up. Yeah, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Control-Shift. Let's go ahead and grab these ones off of here. Control-Shift, rectangle, split hidden. Now on this one, we're going to hit D. And then on these ones, if we hit D, it's going to just average them into cones, which we don't want. So we're going to use geometry. In fact, let's see if we can simplify these a bit. I forgot to take those off. So let's go to geometry, edge loop, delete loops. There we go. Kind of clean those off a little bit, and then we can go down here to our dynamic subdivisions. Instead of doing smooth, we're going to do Q grid, and then we're going to do coverage here. Let's kind of knock those points back. There we go. And now we can just kind of move those in. And you can just do straps hanging off of them here, so we can go to like brush, curve, strap, and the curve strap is really only, you can make the brush size bigger. What it is you go to brush, curve, tubes, and if you change this, you can change it to a tube on the fly. If you go over here to your modifiers, the brush modifier is set to 20. If you set that to 4, that'll go ahead and just make that square. And then you can drop your Z intensity down if you want to make it more strap-like. So, easy enough. Tap off of there, go ahead and split those. And now you have a pair of straps. If you want to make these a little bit more fancy, you can go in here. Let's go into solo mode here. So let's go, let's take this one. Let's go Q mesh, poly loop, And we can just Q mesh this out. This poly loop. Oh, maybe not. Let's make it easier. Poly group, poly loop. Oh, you know what? It's got these capped ends. Boo. Earns. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go to collapse edge. We don't want you, and we want to delete you. And then on this one here, if you don't want to deal with that, you can go Control Shift, grab this one, invert that, delete hidden, and then you can just do a close holes or a bridge. And now you can just do delete edge. There we go. And now it should work. And now you just group by normals, and that'll do that. But if you want to do this whole loop around here, you can go to polygroup, polyloop, tap Alt, get whatever polygroup you want, then QMesh polygroup here, here, and now we'll just do a crease polygroup here. And this one's set to Q grid still. We'll just go to smooth here. There we go. Now we got straps, and then we'll go ahead and do our crease level of 1, smooth subdiv of 3. Get that nice and smooth here. Now I got straps or whatever you want. So see how difficult stylized modeling is? And then it's no different than what I would do for the tech modeling stuff. It's just extruding faces and then smoothing it correctly is 90% of it.